Our first guest, the chief prosecutor of Donald Trump in his Senate impeachment trial, told you. He told you this was going to happen.
He has done it before. He will do it again. What are the odds, if left in office, that he will continue trying to cheat? I will tell you, 100%. He will continue trying to cheat in the election until he succeeds. Then what shall you say?
Leading off our discussion tonight is Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff of California. He's chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. Chairman Schiff, I have to ask you, I'm sure you have many reactions to this phone call. You have many feelings about this phone call. But I will be surprised.
I certainly do.
I'm assuming surprise is not one of them.
No, it's not. I tell you, it took me back, though, listening to that recording. I think anyone who's ever worked on an organized crime case and listened to a wiretap of how organized crime figures talk with each other, it's just like this. Here the president is saying he wants the Secretary of State to find him 11,000. He's got 11,780 votes. Just one more than is necessary. And he even goes on to talk about how, that's all he's asking for. And you need to have people who want to find the answers. And this is how organized crime figures talk to each other. The other impression I had, frankly, was you can imagine listening to that conversation with any number of third world dictators after an election in which either they lost or their mayor lost or their corrupt governor lost, and they call local election officials and they tell them what they need to find. To imagine that happening in this country, it just takes your breath away.
What was your reaction to the Secretary of State's decision to tape the call? He knew the president was calling. The president made 18 attempts to get him on the phone. He decided, okay, when I get on the phone, I'm going to make a tape recording of this call.
Well, it was obviously very wise, and I can certainly understand why he made that decision to do it, because the president would misrepresent anything that took place on that call, and because it was very possible the president was going to ask for something that would be a crime. And indeed, I think that this is going to require those local officials to look into the matter with an eye to whether Georgia laws have been violated. So it was the right decision. It was, I think, a courageous act, one of many courageous acts. And I suppose the flip side of all of this, Lawrence, is there are any number of courageous acts by people all over the country, from local elections officials who refuse to be intimidated to top elections officials that are getting browbeaten by the president of the United States and standing up to him. So, from those poll workers who went out during a pandemic, there are a lot of heroic stories in the face of this assault on our democracy.
Congressman Schiff, the president made that call yesterday. I personally believe, with the full knowledge that he is going to self-pardon himself on the morning of January 20th, retroactively for every day of his presidency and possibly 20 years before that, to wipe out every statute of limitations he could possibly face in any federal criminal charge for his entire life. He knows before he makes that phone call that he's going to pardon himself for all possible federal crimes during his presidency. And that is, it seems to me, part of the dynamic of what we're seeing on the call, why he knows he can't face, he believes he won't be able to face any criminal prosecution federally because of this call.
It's certainly very possible that that's part of what's going through his head, that he is going to try to protect himself. Now, I don't think that's effective. It doesn't mean the president won't try, but I think that if he were to do so, and ultimately were prosecuted in a federal criminal court, that case would go up to the Supreme Court. It would be offered as a defense against the prosecution. But I think ultimately even this court would reject the idea that a president is above the law, can pardon themselves, particularly because the language of the Constitution says that the president can grant a pardon. That suggests that you can't give it to yourself, you're granting it to another. But also because it would negate whole other portions of the Constitution if the president didn't have to faithfully execute the laws, could encourage people to engage in criminality and then say that they will pardon them and pardon himself. So I think that kind of self-defeating interpretation is not one that even this court would give. But Lawrence, you may be right. He may feel he's got a get out of jail free card, or it may just be, the nature of the beast. That is, he can't help himself. This is who he is. He is without ethical compass. He will never find his way. And that may be part of the issue here, too.
Some of your Democratic colleagues have asked the FBI to investigate this phone call. Do you believe the FBI should get involved?
I would have to think more on that, Lawrence. Frankly, I'm focused right now on Wednesday, when we have a very long day ahead of us, when there's another sorry story being told, and that is so many Republican members of the House and Senate going along with the president's effort to overturn the will of the people, to essentially negate a presidential election. So all of my focus is on that. I haven't looked at the call for a federal investigation or the censure resolution. We just need to make sure we get through Wednesday and keep our democracy intact.
Mr. Chairman, the rules call for 2 hours of debate in both bodies, House and Senate, for any challenge posed to electors. Is it possible that you won't use the full 2 hours in the House, that you'll cede back some of that time in order to make the process go quicker?
It is certainly possible. We don't know how many states the Republicans will challenge. If they challenge all 5 or 6 that the president has been falsely contending contain some kind of irregularity, then it will be a very long day and night. It may depend on how long the Republicans want to go within those 2 hours and how much we feel we need to rebut arguments that they make. But we're going to try to keep the focus where it needs to be, on our Constitution, on the peaceful transition of power, and on the need to make sure this exercise in self-government continues and succeeds.
House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We always appreciate it.
Thank you.